I replayed the voicemail for the third time, letting my son's words echo through my quiet living room. Mom, look. Sarah and I want this Paris trip to be special. Just us. Your taste is a bit basic, and these are really exclusive places. You wouldn't be comfortable. Please don't try to join us like you did at our wedding. My car concierge is arranging everything. I glanced down at my desk, where a stack of banking documents lay open. Specifically, the ownership papers for Alight Global Banking, the very bank that issued the precious black card my son Thomas was so proud of. The one he'd been flashing around since his promotion last year. The same card I had authorized as CEO before stepping down to retire last month. My phone buzzed with a text from Thomas. Did you get my message? Please respect our privacy this time. I thought back to their wedding last year, where I'd been seated in the back, far from the important guests. Sarah's mother had been at the head table, of course. After all, she had better connections and a more sophisticated style. If only they knew I bought the vineyard where they held their exclusive ceremony 2 days before the wedding, just to ensure everything went perfectly. Going to Paris next week. Sarah's Instagram post popped up on my phone. Only the best for us. 4 Seasons, D'Or Giv, Plaza Athénée, #luxury life, #private access. I smiled, remembering the meetings I'd had with those hotels' management teams just last month. Amazing how many doors open when you're a major shareholder. My assistant's voice came through the intercom. Ms. Harrison, the 4 Seasons Paris manager, is on line 1. Shall I tell him you're taking his call? Yes, Marie, and please get me Jen Luc from Plaza Athénée afterward. I picked up the phone, switching to French, the language Thomas didn't know I spoke fluently. Philip. Yes, about that reservation for next week. An hour later, everything was arranged. I sat back, looking at the family photo on my desk. Thomas at age 8, beaming up at me with pure love, before money and status became his gods. My phone rang. It was Thomas. Mom, something's wrong with my card. It's being declined everywhere. Oh, I kept my voice neutral. How unfortunate. I'm trying to confirm our hotel reservations in Paris, the 4 Seasons and Plaza Athénée. This is humiliating. Those are very exclusive hotels, I said mildly, echoing his earlier words. Mom, I need to sort this out. Sarah's already told everyone about our luxury trip. Her mother will never let us hear the end of it if we have to cancel. That sounds stressful. Perhaps you should call your card concierge? I did. They said the authorization came from the top. Some CEO or board member must have made a mistake. I looked at the CEO nameplate on my desk, the one I'd never shown him. How frustrating when people in authority make decisions that affect us without consideration, isn't it? Mom, please, I don't have time for lessons. We're flying out next week. First-class tickets, private tours, Michelin restaurants. All those exclusive places that wouldn't suit my basic taste. There was a long pause. You heard that message. 3 times, actually. It was quite educational. Mom, his voice shifted, suspicion creeping in. Do you know something about my card being declined? Let's just say some mothers have better connections than they're given credit for. Another pause. What does that mean? It means, dear son, that perhaps it's time we had a conversation about respect, judgment, and making assumptions. Are you free for dinner tonight? I know a lovely French restaurant. Very exclusive. Though I'm not sure it would suit my basic taste. The silence on the other end was deafening. Mom, what exactly do you do? I smiled, picking up the Alight Global Banking CEO nameplate. Why don't you come over and find out? Bring Sarah. And her mother too, if you'd like. I'm sure she'd be interested in hearing about my connections. You're enjoying this, aren't you? Let's just say some lessons about respecting your mother are best learned with a French accent. See you at 7? As I hung up, my assistant buzzed again. Ms. Harrison, the Plaza Athénée manager, confirmed the presidential suite has been transferred to your name, and the 4 Seasons is preparing the diplomatic suite for your arrival next week. Thank you, Marie, and the private jet? Fueled and ready whenever you'd like to depart. I looked at Thomas's wedding photo, where he and Sarah stood proudly in front of my vineyard, never questioning why they'd gotten such an exclusive venue at the last minute. Sometimes the most valuable lessons come with the highest price tags. At precisely 7, my doorbell rang. I opened it to find Thomas, Sarah, and surprisingly, Sarah's mother, Patricia, standing there. Their expressions ranged from confused to concerned to slightly hostile. Come in, I said, gesturing to my modest penthouse apartment, the one they'd always dismissed as quaint. Dinner will be served on the terrace. Mom, Thomas started, his voice strained. About the card situation. Let's eat first, I interrupted smoothly. Marie has prepared a lovely French menu. I believe it's similar to the one you were planning to enjoy at L'Arpege next week. Sarah's eyes widened. How did you know about our reservation? The same way I know it was just cancelled, I replied, leading them to the terrace where a white-gloved server was pouring vintage champagne, along with all your other Paris arrangements. Patricia sniffed, adjusting her designer scarf. Thomas, I thought you said everything was handled by your exclusive concierge? It was, he muttered, looking increasingly uncomfortable. Until today. I gestured for them to sit at the elegantly set table. Tell me, Patricia, how long have you been a member at Le Cercle? She straightened, preening slightly. 10 years. It's the most exclusive social club in the city, nearly impossible to get into. Yes, I agreed, sipping my champagne. I remember when we founded it. Such a charming little venture. The silence that followed was broken only by Sarah choking slightly on her drink. Founded? Patricia's voice had risen an octave. I nodded to the server to begin serving the first course. Though I rarely visit anymore, too busy with the banking operations, hotel acquisitions, that sort of thing. Thomas put down his fork. Mom, what's really going on? I pulled out my phone, showing them the Elite Global Banking app. Let's start with this card you're so proud of, the one that gives you such exclusive access. Their eyes fixed on the screen as I pulled up the corporate structure. That's impossible, Sarah whispered. Is it? I asked mildly. More impossible than assuming your mother-in-law was too basic to belong in your sophisticated world? Patricia was staring at me like she'd never seen me before. You're the Harrison? Of Harrison Global? Among other things. I smiled as the second course arrived. The foie gras is excellent, the chef trained at my restaurant in Paris. Thomas looked like he might faint. Your restaurant? One of them, along with several hotels, including, coincidentally, the ones you were planning to stay at next week. Sarah's face had gone pale. The reservations, they're really cancelled. The presidential suites are now in my name, I confirmed. Along with the private dining rooms, spa appointments, and that lovely Sunset River cruise you booked. Mom, Thomas's voice cracked slightly. We didn't know. Clearly, I set down my glass. You didn't know because you never asked. You were too busy assuming I wouldn't fit into your world to realize I helped build it. Patricia was frantically scrolling through her phone, presumably Googling me. The vineyard, at the wedding. My vineyard, yes. Though you seem very proud taking credit for finding such an exclusive venue. The weight of their assumptions, their casual dismissals, their social climbing at my expense, it all hung heavy in the air between us. Why didn't you tell us? Sarah asked quietly. Why didn't you ask? I countered. Why was it so easy to believe your mother-in-law was beneath you? To leave that cruel voicemail? To constantly exclude me because I wasn't sophisticated enough? Thomas looked down at his plate, shame finally crossing his face. We've been horrible, haven't we? Horrible isn't the word I'd use, I said. Ungrateful, perhaps. Judgmental, certainly. But mostly just blind. Blind to the fact that real sophistication isn't about flashing credit cards or dropping names. It's about how you treat people. Patricia cleared her throat. Mrs. Harrison, I owe you an apology. Several, actually, I interrupted. But let's start with dinner, and then we can discuss your Paris plans. Our plans? Thomas looked up. But you canceled everything. I smiled, pulling out 4 first-class tickets. I canceled your arrangements, but I made new ones. For all of us. You're coming with us? Sarah asked, hesitantly. No, dear, you're coming with me. To my hotels, my restaurants, my Paris. The real one, not the one you were trying so hard to buy your way into. The rest of dinner was quieter, more thoughtful. As they left later that evening, Thomas turned back. Mom, I'm sorry. For everything. I know, I said. But actions speak louder than words. Let's see how you do in Paris. As their car pulled away, I looked out over the city lights. Sometimes the most valuable lessons about judgment come with a view of the Eiffel Tower. A week later, I watched Thomas, Sarah, and Patricia's faces as we stepped onto my private jet. Gone were their designer outfits chosen for show. They had opted for understated elegance instead. The first lesson had apparently sunk in. Mom, Thomas said quietly as we reached cruising altitude. The way you handled the hotel staff just now. They clearly adore you. Because I treat them like people, not servants, I replied. Money can buy service, but respect earns loyalty. During the flight, I shared stories about building my empire, the late nights, the risks, the failures they'd never known about. Sarah listened intently, her social media forgotten. All those times we thought you were just living simply, she said. You were actually working, weren't you? The best wealth is the kind you don't need to display, I answered, watching Patricia shift uncomfortably in her seat. Paris welcomed us with golden evening light. As we drove through the city, I pointed out small cafes and hidden gardens, places no concierge would ever recommend. This is where I learned business isn't just about profits, I told them. It's about creating experiences, preserving beauty, respecting tradition. At the Plaza Athénée, the staff greeted me with genuine warmth. Madam Harrison, your usual suite is ready. Thomas watched, amazed, as everyone from the doorman to the manager embraced me like family. Your mother, the manager told him in French, not realizing I had taught Thomas the language during our flight. She saved this hotel 10 years ago, not just with money, with heart. That week transformed them. We dined at my restaurants, but also at tiny bistros where chefs shared their grandmother's recipes. We visited my properties, but also the hidden Paris I had discovered decades ago. I get it now, Thomas said one evening as we sat on a terrace overlooking the city. Why you never told us? We weren't ready to understand. Sarah nodded, her designer shopping bags notably absent. We thought luxury was about exclusion, about being better than others. And now, I asked. It's about appreciation, she said softly. About recognizing value in all its forms. Patricia had been unusually quiet throughout the trip. Finally, on our last night, she spoke. I've spent 10 years at Le Cercle, she said, trying to prove I belonged. You've spent decades building things that matter, never needing to prove anything. I smiled, remembering my own journey. The truly exclusive club is the one that welcomes everyone who understands that value isn't about price tags. As we flew home, I noticed subtle changes. Thomas helped the flight attendant with her tray. Sarah engaged the pilot in conversation about his family. Patricia admired the plane's craftsmanship rather than its luxury. The Paris trick we planned, Thomas said as we descended, would have been all photos and bragging rights. And this one? I asked. This one taught us that true sophistication is invisible, Sarah answered. It's in how you treat people, how you appreciate beauty, how you share success. Back home, I watched them unpack not just their bags, but their experiences. The designer labels and social media posts had been replaced by genuine stories and meaningful connections. Mom, Thomas said before leaving, thank you for teaching us the difference between having class and buying it. I hugged him, feeling the son I had raised return. Sometimes the most valuable things in life can't be bought at all. As they drove away, I smiled, knowing the next family dinner wouldn't be about impressing anyone. It would simply be about family, the most exclusive club of all.